Tyler, is this a persuasion election or a turnout election? And explain both terms.
This is a turnout election, Charlie, and it's really simple. So you'll hear both those terms used. Persuasion elections are typically a lower turnout election. So your midterm elections, you have to persuade people to like your candidates because typically not as many people turn out. When it's high turnout and it's pretty clear who the candidates are and what they stand for, aka presidential elections, turnout elections are everything. And there's not a lot of gray area between Kamala Harris, who's a socialist, and Donald Trump, who everybody knows and has served 4 years already as president. So for that reason, there's not a lot of persuasion that needs to happen. It's just finding the right voters and turning out those right voters. So that's what we're in the midst of right now and doing is looking and saying, okay, well, who are the people who are almost certainly Republican, so therefore more likely to support Donald Trump, either begrudgingly or because they love Trump, which, I would say 90% of the party actually is pretty in love with Trump and what he stood for and what he did this last election cycle. 10% are, probably watch a little bit too much media and too much CNN or things like that. But, those are the people that we have to try to get out. And if you turn out those people at a higher rate than the left does, then you win. And this is really what the gospel has been that we've been preaching to people is like, hey guys, we're not losing elections because we don't have as much excitement. We have more excitement in a lot of these places, but we're losing just barely because the left is just targeting more people, putting more bodies on the ground to basically be a concierge at the door for people who just don't typically vote.
Yeah.
And so if you do so.
Yeah, Tyler. And just a thing we've emphasized over the summer that polling has shown, and this was stronger with Biden still in the race, but it still is in play with Kamala, is that the evidence does show, compared even to 2016 and 2020, Trump is stronger with, as we say, low propensity voters. So he's doing a little better with young people than he used to do. He's doing a little better with black voters, a little better with Hispanic voters. Those are all groups that are less likely to turn out to vote. And historically, they've been very Democrat now, and also lower income, lower turnout white voters. Trump is doing better with all of those groups. And so, in the New York Times itself in July said, does Biden benefit from a high turnout election? And it's like, not anymore, because when you have high turnout, you're getting out more low propensity voters. And those are now a group that somewhat leans towards Trump now. And all the evidence is this will be a lower turnout election than 2020. There's not all the COVID shenanigans that make it all the intensity that made it so high turnout. You don't have all the stuff. It might even be lower turnout than 2016, maybe. And if that's the case, that might be bad for us. And that's also what makes this a turnout race. This is going to be who gets a higher percent of the people they had in 2020 back into the ballot box. And I think there's a lot of reason to think it could be us. I think there's a lot of excitement around Trump. There's a lot more public ability to support Trump. But we have to get those people to put their ballot, their piece of paper, into the box.
Well,
Tyler,
Blake,
30 seconds.
I was just going to piggyback on that and just say there's evidence to believe that the lower turnout election is going to hurt them more because our base again is a little bit more electric for Trump because Kamala's kind of an unknown. So the lower turnout indicators that we're seeing in Pennsylvania and some other places that have already hit to balloting for the Democrats, including early ballot requests, is a really strong indicator for us. And we just have to execute now. We have to get our people out.